This is an RCA ACR-175 chassis dating from about 1936. Just finished the recap on this. I haven't changed any resistors yet, and I know some of the resistors are way out of tolerance. But I thought I'd just try the chassis, see if it actually worked with the new caps in. It had some replacement caps already fitted, and I replaced the replacement caps so I could maintain a much more authentic look to the underside of the chassis. I've taken the BFO cover off, it goes over here, to replace these two caps, and all these have been either restuffed or they've been removed from the AC-111 chassis I was working on earlier, and those caps were then restuffed because some of these caps were missing from this chassis. Also, the electrolytics had been replaced with some modern units under the chassis, and I took those out and restuffed the original above chassis cans. So the underside of the chassis now looks almost original. I replaced some wiring that had degraded rubber insulation on it, but other than that I haven't done anything to it other than recap it, and I repaired this rubber coupling on the crystal shaft. So I thought I'd try it before I did any work on the resistors. I did switch it on earlier in the day. It didn't work, it was silent, and then I found that there was a bad connection on the speaker wire, and bad enough connection that it actually made one of these connections on the phono jack live, and pretty nasty. Anyway, that's been repaired now. I've remade all these connections on the jack, and I've made it so that the speaker is now safe. I did notice some roughness in the tuning. This is very doesn't feel right. I noticed that the little logging scale mechanism isn't working properly. I'm having a problem getting the pointers off to get to that mechanism, so I just left it for now. It does tune, but not as good as it could be. Anyway, I'm just going to do a quick demo of the chassis working again. I'll switch it on, and this controls the on-off switch plus effectively a tone control, and then if you switch it to the far right, it switches into standby, and that light comes on to indicate that. Monitoring the chassis voltages while I'm doing this. The meter over there is measuring the main HT voltage to the chassis, which should be about 250 volts. There's analog meters measuring the rectifier output, which is about 310 volts. And this meter down here is monitoring one of the bias screen grid voltage. So it's running now. You hear it in the background there, speakers down on the floor. The tuning eye is working. All the tubes test pretty good. It's on broadcast band. I'm just going to scan up the band, down the band from the top end downwards. So it's at 1.6 megahertz now.
Probably around 300 BC, in other words, nearly 2,500 years ago. He is a Greek man. Talk about and your money. 888.
It's a very strong local station. This vacuum tube voltmeter over here is actually measuring the AGC voltage. So we've got about between 5 and 6 volts on the AGC line. As I tune through, that's a really strong station. And the tuning eye should be responding to that as well. I'll just move down here. the
when we're filing our tax returns. And of course, you don't want to leave
crystal
this until last minute. In
phasing
fact, maintaining
sort of works, but not very well, and I've got a feeling somebody snapped one of the rotors off the tuning capacitor there.
That can be taken by Revenue Canada to ensure that you have
He's looking at.
for accurate reporting.
AGC switch works, sort of. AGC off, AGC on.
Well, here's a thought.
Okay, try another band. Not much doing in the shortwaves. Broadcast band seems okay. I've not tried to do any alignment. This is just as it came. So anyway, it's working, which is good news. It's drawing around about 85 watts, which seems about right. So there we go. RCA ACR-175 from about 1936. Lots more work to do, yeah, but at least it's working.